Hello and welcome to this exciting lesson on Excel pivot tables. I'm glad to have you here. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I post practical lessons on data analysis and overview templates to help improve your Excel skills. If you'd like to collaborate, or have any questions, feel free to reach out through the contact details provided in the video or channel description. In today's lesson, we'll be diving into what pivot tables are and why they're such powerful tools for summarizing and analyzing large datasets quickly and easily. We'll also look at the type of data that works best with pivot tables and how to clean and prepare your data before creating one. You'll learn how beneficial pivot tables are in turning raw data into meaningful insights without needing to write complex formulas. Whether you're a student, a beginner, or a professional, pivot tables are an essential tool you can use to save time and make informed decisions from your data. Pivot tables in Excel are powerful tools used to quickly summarize, analyze, explore, and present large amounts of data. They allow you to extract meaningful insights without using complex formulas, by simply dragging and dropping fields into rows, columns, and values. With pivot tables, you can group data, calculate totals and averages, compare categories, and spot trends, all within seconds. Whether you're working with sales records, employee logs, or survey data, pivot tables make it easy to turn raw data into clear, organized reports. They're especially useful when you need to make data-driven decisions fast or present findings to others in a simple and interactive way. When working with pivot tables, the best types of data to use are structured datasets that are organized in a tabular format. This means your data should be arranged in rows and columns, with clear and consistent headers for each column. Pivot tables work best when each row represents a single record or entry, such as a sales transaction, employee detail, or inspection report. It's also important that there are no completely blank rows or columns in the dataset, and that each column contains a single type of data, for example, dates, numbers, or text. Clean, well-organized data allows pivot tables to generate accurate summaries and make analysis easier and faster. Before creating a pivot table, it's important to clean your data to ensure accurate results. Start by removing any blank rows or unnecessary columns that don't add value to your analysis. Make sure each column has a clear header, and check that there are no duplicates unless necessary. Ensure consistency in data formatting. Dates should be in date format, numbers as numbers, and text should follow the same style, e.g., consistent spelling or case. Also, fix any merged cells, as they can interfere with pivot table creation. Clean data is the foundation of a powerful pivot table. Now, on the right side, I have summarized the data in this worksheet using Excel formulas. This formula adds up all the revenue values in column I, but only for the customers listed in column A that match the customer name in cell L2. In other words, it totals the sales revenue for a specific customer based on the sales data captured in the worksheet. In column O, this formula counts how many times the customer name in cell L3 appears in column A, which contains the list of customers. In other words, it calculates the total number of sales records for that specific customer based on the data in the worksheet. Unlike using formulas like COUNTIFC or SUMIFC to summarize data manually, pivot tables allow you to analyze and organize your data much more easily. With pivot tables, most of the work is done by simply clicking and dragging fields to different areas, without needing to write complex formulas. This makes data analysis faster, more intuitive, and accessible even if you're not familiar with many Excel functions. Pivot tables help you quickly create powerful summaries and insights with minimal effort. Now, let's prepare our data by cleaning it up. This means deleting any unnecessary columns and rows to keep only the information we need. Cleaning the data helps us work more efficiently and ensures our analysis is accurate when we create the pivot table. It's highly recommended to create a table before building a pivot table. Converting your dataset into an Excel table makes it easier to manage and ensures that your pivot table stays updated when new data is added. Tables automatically expand as you enter more records, and they give your data a structured format with filters and formatting already applied. This step helps prevent errors and makes your pivot table dynamic and more efficient to work with. To create a table in Excel, simply click anywhere within your data range. Then, go to the Insert tab and click on the table icon under the Tables group. A Create Table dialog box will appear, automatically highlighting your data range. Make sure to check the box that says My Table has headers before clicking OK. An even quicker method is to press Ctrl+T on your keyboard while the data is selected. This shortcut also opens the Create Table dialog. In our case, the selected range contains 701 rows. Once you click OK, your data will be formatted as a structured Excel table. To access Table Tools, go to the Table Design tab. Under the Table Style Options group, you can explore various formatting features such as header row, banded rows, total row, and more. These options allow you to quickly enhance the appearance and functionality of your table without using any formulas. Just experiment with them to see what works best for your data. Naming a table makes it easier to reference in formulas, improves clarity, and helps organize your workbook better. To name the table, go to the Table Design tab, then under the Properties group, click in the Table Name box, type Sales Data, and press Enter. The reason we're seeing this error is because we added a space between sales and data when naming the table. Excel table names cannot contain spaces or special characters, so it immediately shows an error when such a name is entered. Instead of using a space, you can use an underscore or join the words together, like sales data or sales_data. This error serves as a reminder that Excel follows specific naming rules for structured references, especially when working with formulas or pivot tables that reference the table name. Always ensure your table names are valid to avoid disruptions. Now let's change our table column header font color to make them clearer. Follow these steps to do it. You can easily change the appearance of your table by applying different table styles. To do this, click anywhere inside the table, then go to the Table Design tab where you'll find a variety of predefined table styles under the Table Styles group. Hover over each style to preview how it looks, and click to apply the one that best fits your preference. Changing table styles not only improves the visual appeal of your data but also helps in making it more readable and organized, especially when presenting or sharing your workbook with others. When working in Excel, I usually remove the grid lines to make the worksheet look cleaner. To do this, go to the View tab, then under the Show group, uncheck the Grid Lines option. Next, for the small table, highlight the entire range, navigate to the Home tab, click the small arrow at the bottom right of the font group to open the Format Cells dialog box. Select the Border tab, choose both outline and inside borders, then click OK. This way, we've applied borders specifically to the mini table, giving our worksheet a more polished and organized look. To increase column widths, click and drag the boundary on the right side of the column header. So far, we've cleaned and organized our data, created and named a table, and formatted it for clarity. Now, with everything ready, let's start creating the pivot table for this sales data. To create a pivot table, navigate to the Insert tab. On the left, you'll see two options, Recommended Pivotables and Pivotable. For now, click on Pivotable, and the Create Pivotable dialog box will appear. The Create Pivotable window allows you to choose the data range you want to analyze and where you want the pivotable to be placed. At the top, it shows the selected table or range, which is automatically filled if you had selected your table before. Below that, you have two options, to place the pivotable on a new worksheet or in an existing worksheet. By default, the new worksheet option is selected. This setup helps you control where your summary report will appear, making it easier to keep your data organized and separate from the original dataset. When you click OK in the Create Pivotable window with New Worksheet selected, Excel immediately creates a new sheet within your workbook and inserts a blank pivotable layout. On the right side of the screen, the pivotable field list appears, showing all the column headers from your original data table. This is where you can start building your pivotable by simply dragging fields into four areas: filters, columns, rows, and values. The new worksheet provides a clean space to analyze your data without affecting the original sheet, allowing you to summarize and explore insights easily. In a pivotable, the filters area allows you to add drop-down filters that let you focus on specific parts of your data, such as viewing sales by one customer at a time. The columns area is where you place fields you want displayed across the top of your pivotable, creating a horizontal breakdown of the data. The rows area is used to organize data vertically, typically for grouping categories like product names or customer names. Lastly, the values area is where you place numeric fields, such as revenue or quantity, to calculate totals, averages, or counts. These four areas work together to give you a dynamic and interactive summary of your data. When you drag the customer field to the rows area, Excel automatically lists all the unique customer names from your dataset vertically down the pivotable. This action organizes the data by customer, meaning each customer will appear only once, even if they made multiple purchases. Pivotables help remove duplicate entries and group records under one category, making it easier to analyze patterns. For example, you can later see how much revenue each customer brought in. This step is the foundation for summarizing and comparing data across different customers, especially when combined with values like sales or quantities. When you drag the revenue field to the values area, Excel automatically calculates the total revenue for each customer listed in the rows area using the sum function by default. This means it adds up all revenue entries linked to each customer, giving you a clear breakdown of how much each one has spent or contributed to overall sales. At the bottom of the values column, Excel also displays a grand total, which is the total revenue from all customers combined. This makes it easy to analyze both individual and overall performance, all without writing a single formula. When you click an empty cell outside the pivotable fields panel disappears. It reappears when you click back inside the pivotable. If you check the revenue, the currency symbol is no longer showing, but the values remain the same. Don't worry, we'll learn how to apply the currency symbol to the pivotable shortly. This formatting step is important for making your reports more readable, especially when dealing with financial data. A clear presentation helps stakeholders understand totals and comparisons more easily. Now, to apply the currency symbol to the revenue values, right-click any cell in the revenue column, then select Format Cells. In the Format Cells dialog box, choose Currency, reduce the decimal places to 0, and click OK. This will apply the currency format to all values in the revenue field. For our mini table, if we want to add the total revenue manually, click cell J7 and enter the sum function to calculate the total revenue. This method is manual, unlike the automatic summary done by the pivot table. Let's also do the same to calculate the total number of orders to see the count for all customers. To apply a fill color, highlight the desired range, go to the Home tab, click the fill color icon in the font group, and choose your preferred color like this. When you change the revenue for customer 3 in the table, the pivot table does not update automatically. It only updates the mini table with the formulas, not the pivot table. If you check the totals, the mini table and pivot table now show different values, meaning the pivot table data is outdated. Now for us to add the counts, we simply drag the order ID field into the values area. This will count how many orders each customer made. Excel automatically uses the count function for text or non-numeric fields like order IDs. If you cross-check the counts in the mini table and the pivot table, you'll see that they are matching. To remove the order ID from the pivot table, simply drag it out of the values area or uncheck it from the field list. When you remove the customer field from the rows area, the pivot table stops grouping the data by each customer and instead shows only the grand total of the revenue. This means you're viewing a summary of all the revenue combined, without any breakdown by who made the purchases. When you tick the customer field again in the pivotable fields list, it gets added back to the rows area. This brings back the detailed breakdown, showing the revenue for each customer individually along with the grand total at the bottom. Sorting in a pivot table is the process of arranging your data in a specific order, either in ascending or descending format. For example, you can sort customers based on the total revenue, from highest to lowest or alphabetically from A to Z. The advantage of sorting is that it helps you quickly identify top-performing categories, high or low values, or patterns in your data. It makes large datasets easier to analyze and ensures that important insights stand out clearly without needing to manually search through the table. To sort data in a pivot table, right-click any cell in the revenue column, go to the Sort option, and select Sort Largest to Smallest. When you sort the revenue column from largest to smallest, the customer column automatically adjusts to match the order. This keeps each customer aligned with the correct revenue value. Sorting is important because it helps you quickly identify top-performing customers, analyze trends, and make informed decisions based on the highest or lowest values in your data. When you sort the customer names from smallest to largest, A to Z, the revenue values will also adjust automatically to stay aligned with their corresponding customers. Pivot tables maintain the relationship between fields, so when one field, like customer, is sorted, the associated values, like revenue, are rearranged to match, without altering the actual data. When you click the filter icon on the pivot table, a filter drop-down menu appears. This menu shows a list of all customer names included in the pivot table, each with a checkbox beside it. By default, all checkboxes are ticked, meaning all customers are displayed. If you untick customer 3 and customer 5, and then click OK, only customers 1, 2, and 4 will remain visible in the pivot table. The total revenue and other values will automatically adjust to show only the data for the selected customers. This means you can focus your analysis on specific entries without deleting or changing the original data. It's a powerful feature because it allows you to temporarily exclude or include information, helping you make better decisions by narrowing down large data sets to what matters most. When you tick all the customers again and open the filter dropdown, then go to Value Filters and choose Greater Than, a window appears asking for a condition. In this case, if you enter 600,000, Excel will filter the pivot table to show only customers whose total revenue is greater than 600,000. When you click OK, the pivot table updates to display only those customers meeting the condition. Customers with total revenue less than or equal to 600,000 will be excluded from the view. This means the pivot table now focuses only on high-value customers. This is useful when you want to analyze top-performing clients, track large transactions, or generate reports based on thresholds such as sales targets, budget limits, or performance benchmarks. It helps decision makers quickly identify key contributors without manually going through the entire dataset. Adding the product field to a pivot table is important because it helps break down the data further, giving you more detailed insight. For example, instead of just seeing total revenue by customer, you can also see which products each customer bought and how much revenue each product generated. This makes your analysis more specific and useful. It becomes especially beneficial when comparing product performance, identifying best-selling items, tracking trends, and making decisions on inventory, pricing, or marketing. It also helps spot underperforming products quickly and supports better reporting to management or clients. To add the product field to the filters area, drag the product field from the field list and drop it into the filters box in the pivot table fields pane. When you select only one product in the filters, the pivot table updates to show revenue and customer data only for that specific product. This helps focus analysis on a particular product's performance, making it easier to spot trends and make informed decisions. To select multiple products in the filters, click the filter drop-down arrow next to the product field, then choose Select Multiple Items by ticking the boxes for all the products you want to include, and click OK to apply the filter. This allows you to compare groups of products at once, helping you analyze combined sales or trends across several items without switching filters repeatedly. It's useful for gaining broader insights and making better decisions. Are you enjoying and learning so far? If yes, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel for more helpful lessons. Now if we are to include the percentage of each customer's revenue contribution to the grand total, our analysis becomes more meaningful. It helps us quickly understand which customers bring in the most value and which ones contribute less. This is very beneficial for analysts as it simplifies comparison, reveals patterns, and supports data-driven decisions, especially when prioritizing key clients or planning targeted strategies. Now to add the revenue percentages for each customer, let's drag the revenue field again into the values area. As you can see, the pivot table now displays two revenue columns. To convert the second column to percentages, right-click any cell in that second revenue column, navigate to Show Values As, and a window with multiple options will appear. The Show Values As panel displays a list of options that let you change how your values are summarized in the pivot table. Instead of just showing raw numbers, you can choose to display values as percentages of the grand total, row total, column total, differences, rankings, running totals, and more. These options help analyze data from different perspectives and make comparisons easier and more meaningful. To do this, let's select % of column total from the Show Values As options. Automatically, the revenue values are converted to percentages. However, the pivot table now shows two columns with the same header name, which can be confusing. To fix this, double-click the header of the second revenue column to open the Value Field Settings window. In the Custom Name box, type % of revenue and click OK. Now, the data is easier to read and interpret, making the pivot table more meaningful. When you add the product field to the rows area of the pivot table, the data will be displayed in a more detailed breakdown where each customer is listed along with the individual products they purchased. This means for every customer, you will see a list of products and the corresponding revenue or counts associated with each. This data becomes very important because it shows not just total revenue per customer, but exactly what products are contributing to that revenue. It's highly beneficial for identifying buying patterns, top-selling products per customer, and areas where specific products are performing well or poorly. Analysts can use this breakdown to make targeted decisions such as which products to promote, how to price certain items, or how to manage inventory more effectively based on customer demand. Each customer row has a collapse button, minus sign, that hides the detailed product data for that customer. Clicking it simplifies the view by showing only the customer totals. This makes the pivot table less cluttered and easier to read. You can click the expand button, plus sign, to show the detailed data again whenever needed for deeper analysis. When you move the product field from the rows area to the columns area, the pivot table displays products as column headers across the top instead of listing them vertically. This changes the layout, making it easier to compare product data side by side for each customer, helping you analyze trends and differences more clearly. When you hover over pivotable styles in the Design tab, the table preview updates instantly to show how each style looks. Pivotable style options allow you to show or hide elements like headers, banded rows, or columns. The layout group lets you customize report layout, subtotals, and grand totals. Now I've just removed the percentages, and we're about to explore something else. Linking pivot tables to charts is highly beneficial for anyone in data analysis. It allows complex data to be visualized clearly and interactively, making it easier to spot trends, patterns, and outliers. In workplaces, especially in departments like finance, sales, SHEQ, and operations, this improves decision-making and reporting. It saves time, reduces errors, and enhances communication with non-technical teams. Now to create a chart, simply click anywhere inside the pivot table, navigate to the Insert tab, and then click on Recommended Charts. A clustered column chart is suggested based on our data. Click OK, and the chart will be displayed. To make the chart clearer and easier to interpret, let's remove the product field. This simplifies the chart and makes it easier to analyze. If you'd like to learn more about Excel charts and graphs, please watch my full tutorial, which I'll link in the video description below. Now this chart is a clustered column chart that visually compares the total revenue for each customer. Each bar represents one customer, making it easy to see which customers brought in the highest or lowest revenue at a glance. This helps in quickly identifying top-performing clients and spotting trends in sales performance. Excel slices are visual filter tools that allow users to quickly filter data in pivotables or pivot charts with just a click. They display buttons for each filter option, making it easier and more interactive than using traditional drop-downs. Slices are beneficial to data analysts because they help in analyzing specific data segments instantly. They improve clarity, speed up filtering, and enhance dashboards for better decision-making. To insert a slicer, navigate to the Analyze tab, click on the Insert Slicer option under the Filter group, and the Insert Slices dialog box will appear. Check the product field, then click OK. The product field slicer is a visual filter that displays a list of all available product names from the data. When you click on any single product in the slicer, the pivot table instantly filters to show only the data related to that selected product. The chart linked to the pivot table also updates automatically to reflect only the revenue for the selected product, making it easier to focus on and analyze specific product performance. To select multiple products in the slicer, simply hold down the Control key. On mobile, just tap each product without deselecting others. This allows you to highlight more than one product at a time. When multiple products are selected, the pivot table and the linked chart update automatically to display combined data for the selected products only. This makes it easier to compare performance across different products and gain insights for better decision-making. Timelines in Excel are visual filter tools used specifically with date fields in pivot tables. They allow data analysts to filter data by days, months, quarters, or years with a simple click and drag interface. Timelines are beneficial because they make it easier to analyze trends over time, compare periods, and focus on specific time ranges without manually filtering. They're a powerful way to gain quick insights from time-based data. To create a timeline, navigate to the Analyze tab, and under the Filter group, click Insert Timeline. A dialog box will appear. Make sure the checkbox for the date field is selected, then click OK. Once the timeline is inserted, you can move it to the bottom of the worksheet for better visibility and organization. When you click any of the blue month bars on the timeline, the pivot table and the linked column chart automatically update to show only the data for the selected period. This dynamic filtering allows you to quickly analyze trends and performance for specific months without manually filtering the data. It's especially useful for time-based analysis, helping data analysts focus on targeted periods and make faster, informed decisions. When you highlight the pivot table and copy it to a different location in the same worksheet, a duplicate pivot table is created that shares the same pivot cache or data source. However, this copied pivot table does not affect the existing chart or timeline. They remain connected only to the original pivot table. Any filters or slices applied to one pivot table won't automatically apply to the other unless you manually link them using slicer connections. The chart and timeline will continue to respond only to changes made in the original pivot table unless reconnected. Now, the reason we copied the pivot table and pasted it below was to calculate the profit margin without affecting the original pivot table, chart, or timeline. In the second pivot table, we've added the cost field to the values area alongside revenue. This setup allows us to easily compare revenue and cost per customer or product. From there, we can calculate the profit margin, which is the difference between revenue and cost, usually expressed as a percentage. Analyzing profit margin helps businesses understand how much they are actually earning after costs, which is crucial for decision-making and improving performance. To improve our analysis, let's first remove the cost field from the values area. Then, navigate to the Analyze tab, and under the Calculations group, click on Fields, Items and Sets. From the drop-down, select Calculated Field, and the Insert Calculated Field dialog box will appear. The Insert Calculated Field dialog box allows you to create custom calculations within your pivotable by combining existing fields using Excel formulas. You give the field a name, enter the formula, and once added, it appears in your pivotable like any other field. It's useful for calculating metrics like profit, profit margin, or custom ratios directly inside the pivotable. So for the name, let's enter profit margin. Then, in the formula box, double-click the revenue field to insert it, type a minus sign, and double-click the cost field to add it. Once done, click OK, and the profit margin field will be immediately added to the pivotable. So basically, this is how you create a calculated field in a pivotable to calculate profit margin by subtracting cost from revenue. It's quick, dynamic, and updates automatically with your data. Now let's try adding new data to our existing Excel table to see if the pivotable updates automatically. This is important because, in real workplace scenarios, data is constantly changing or being added. After inserting the new record at the bottom of the table, we'll scroll back to the pivotable and check if the totals or values reflect the new entry. This helps us understand how dynamic the pivotable is and whether it responds instantly to data changes or if we need to take additional steps to update it manually. As you can see, we have added customer 6 to the table, but the pivotable has not updated automatically. To refresh the data, navigate to the Analyze tab, go to the Data group, and click on Refresh. Immediately, you'll notice that customer 6 has been added to the pivotable, reflecting the updated data. The refresh feature updates your pivotable with any changes made to the source data. It ensures your analysis remains accurate without needing to recreate the pivotable each time data changes. Now let's talk about recommended pivotables. This is another quick and easy way to create pivotables in Excel. When you click on it, Excel automatically analyzes your data and suggests different layout options based on common patterns. As you scroll through, you'll see several useful summaries, like totals by customer or revenue per product, already structured for you. It's a great starting point, especially for beginners or when you're unsure how to organize your data. Just select the one that fits your need and click OK. Your pivotable is ready to go instantly. Thank you so much for following along in this lesson on Excel pivotables. We've explored how to create pivotables, analyze and summarize large datasets, apply filters, slices, timelines, calculate percentages, profit margins, and even create charts, all without writing complex formulas. Pivotables are powerful tools for any data analyst or business professional, helping you make sense of data quickly and visually. If you found this lesson helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more Excel tutorials. Feel free to reach out using the contact details in the description for any questions or collaborations. Keep practicing and stay tuned for more.